Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you for being with me again today. I posted some videos lately where I was discussing, based on the articles I found, that the West is showing signs of um, minimizing or dropping its support for the Ukraine and Zelensky, and there are some personalities, politicians, who started advising Zelensky to negotiate with Russia and eventually not the possibility, but the reality of losing some territories to Russia is very possible. So the reality is setting in. Obviously, the Ukrainians are upset about it. Zelensky is upset about it, and from the Ukrainian side, who wouldn't be upset about it? But nevertheless, as I stated before, there's a difference between ideals and realities. So ideals and abstract, values and all that. That's one thing, and utopia. But on the other hand, what's in the field in reality, that you have to deal with that. That's the reality. You manage and you negotiate and you plan according to the reality, not with beautiful fairy tale that we might all have in our heads. Because if we try to do that, we know that's impossible to achieve. So it seems like Zelensky is still trying to achieve that, and these guys are telling me, hey, maybe you have to come back to earth, unfortunately. So this is an article from the New Voice of Ukraine from May 26, 2022, and this is the title: Italian General, and it says, parrots Moscow's words to further its plans for concessions from Ukraine. Recently, Russian propagandists have been promoting the comments of Italian General Leonardo Tricarico, Tricarico, who blames Ukraine who blames Ukraine for Russia's aggression. Well, I don't know if it's about blaming Ukraine, but I know, like in any kind of disagreement, the truth is somewhere, not clear cut. Yeah, that's the one. Not always. Sometimes, it's kind of like proportionate. This has a proportion, that has the other one has another proportion. But and it says, according to him, to this general, in order to achieve peace, President Volodymyr Zelensky allegedly has to yield to the Kremlin regime and comply with the aggressor's demands. And I'm quoting, for several weeks, Italian and American media have been publishing El Tricarico's comments calling on Western countries to persuade Ukraine to negotiate with Russia, the center explains. The former chief of staff of the Italian Air Forces peddles the Kremlin's narrative of the greatness of Russia and has again resorted to nuclear blackmail of the world. According to El Tricarico, assistance to Ukraine may provoke Russia to use weapons of mass destruction. Now, I don't know if that's so or not, but remember that it was not only Zelensky, who, man, you have to understand that if someone tells you to give up and you say, well, what's going on here? You guys are dropping me? Yes, basically it seems to be like that, kind of. The European Union does not place that embargo on Russia. The sanctions are like slips like that. You can pay in rubles, you can't pay in rubles, you don't violate the sanctions. Um, that's what it is. And you have, as I said, certain individuals who will say that, well, maybe we should not really be so rough. And it is what it is. The reality is that the Russians are already conquering almost whatever they said they conquered. The Lugansk, the Donetsk regions. They're recognizing those as independent. They're advancing. There are some reports that I discussed in two previous videos, um, where on the Ukrainian account, they stated that the Russians are pushing forward on multiple fronts, and the Ukrainians are reorganizing, but it's not a retreat. And I mentioned jokingly, but real actually is reality, how Winston Churchill, uh, said instead of saying retreat to the coast, he said advance to the coast when the Germans were pushing them towards Dunkirk. I had a problem remembering Dunkirk, but nevertheless. So instead of telling his army, well, retreat to the coast so we can come and get you back to our island, he said advance to the coast. So the same here. The Ukrainian army is advancing to the west. It's advancing to Poland, basically retreating. But nevertheless, I assume from what I see things develop in about 2 days to have some major, maybe 3 days, major developments, because it seems like the Russians have a breakthrough and the Ukrainians can't stop that. And then you have the Westerns who seem to say, hey guys, yeah, it was a good run, but NATO countries said that they will not deliver warplanes or tanks to Ukraine. That's another thing that before that it was, yeah, everything goes, but armies, um, I don't know. It's we have then Henry Kissinger showed up at Davos and said, well, don't anger Putin, don't humiliate Putin. You probably have to negotiate with him, losing those territories now. Zelensky and Kissinger are, you know, so you can really attack one of them because they're protected. Let's put it this way. So it's true that Kissinger is 98, but he's got some experience. I don't know how much knowledge of the current events he's got, but he's not the only one saying that. Remember, it was the French president Emmanuel Macron who said something of the same kind that, well, maybe I know Putin should not lose, and then Zelensky jumped on him, and since then Macron has been hiding under some little rocks over there, or the mass media did not cover anything about this guy. So I don't know. It seems like there are some signs that they can't do much, and I didn't hear the main supporters here on the continent, which is um, not on the continent, but there are the when you have to grab something, you think it, but then you use your arm and your hand to grab it. So that's Great Britain. That's me wanting my mouth to eat that fruit, but I send my arm and my hand grab that fruit, bring it here, and eat it. So that this is Great Britain right here, and this is United States. So I didn't hear anything coming from the Great Britain saying anything about the situation and the new developments. So that's very concerning. I heard something about Liz Truss saying something, but as always, she's not very, how should I put it? I don't want to put it the way you think and I should put it, but she's not that sophisticated. Let's put it this way. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.